Okay, everybody, aloha! Pretty good. Let's try to get aloha! Oh, we are so excited to get this thing going. All of those out in the pre-function space, come on in and sit at the table because we're about to get this party started. Tiana?
Ready? Start this party. Doesn't it feel good to be out? Anybody else excited to dress up and be out tonight? Woo! Great. Well, good evening and welcome to the third annual Living Color Gala. A night's on the road to create a solution, craft and foster diversity, initiative.
This event came together because of a partnership between Utah Business Magazine and Living Color Utah. It's the coalition of Utah Black Chamber of Commerce, the Utah Asian Chamber of Commerce, the Salt Lake City Pacific Island Business Alliance, the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, the Slazo Business Center, and the Young Professional, shout out, I hear ya, and the Young Professional Salt Lake City.
So together, their goal was to bring awareness to the changing business landscape in Utah and to provide a foundation on which further improving efforts can be built.
Utah Business and Living Color Utah would like to thank the Living Color Platinum sponsor, Domo. Woo! Domo. We'd also like to thank the gold sponsors who are Dominion Energy and Zions Bank. Put our hands together for them. And also the silver sponsors, the Larry H. Miller Group of Companies, Lendio. Here you, Larry H. Miller. How about Lendio? Lendio in the house? Okay. How about my people, the FinTech, MX? MX in the house? MX, we love you anyway. They're outside. And how about Weave? Weave representing. Thanks for being here, you guys. We'd like to thank all of those groups for their valued support, as well as the corporate partners that are here with us tonight.
Cameron helped Roma change the process. You may have seen
But what you may not know is that Cameron was greater than the world. Cameron shined the light on Williams' legacy. He inspired people, not just here in Utah, but across the country and across the world. We who have had the opportunity to know him and to love him have been changed for the good, been changed for the better, and we have to get where to go. So, before I continue, please give a round of applause to Mr. and Mrs. Williams and Morgan Williams, the Williams family, for joining us this evening. Cameron may no longer be here in the land, but his legacy lives on. His legacy that spoke so deeply about diversity and tech. His legacy that will continue to be brought to the color to Utah. His legacy we had a few hours ago. We knew, like you all know, that this is the case. Now it's time for us to seize the day and to move Utah and her business community beyond our allyship, beyond performing an allyship and absolutely. I'm going to say that one more time for y'all. We now have the opportunity to move Utah and her business community beyond performative allyship into doing something. Cameron was a force for billboards that noted that Black Lives Matter, but his life was a choice to tell the world that all lives matter, all Black lives matter, all brown lives matter, all tech lives matter, all lives matter. We deserve to live in a world where Black people and white people and all people can come together for the betterment of our community. And that is all that I see. I'm asking you right now to follow Cameron's legacy, to pick up the banner of Cameron's legacy. Right now, family, we need to do. We need to push for equitable policies. We need to restore access to community partners, and we need to so that we don't have to compete with people outside of our community. It's time for us to start clearing out pipelines. The people who live here, the people who will live here. If you don't know, 2 years ago, there were 6,000 tech jobs left unanswered because we didn't have to. There were companies that came to Utah who said, we can't bring our industry because it's not that much money. But I was doing understanding it was fun, and it comes to this audience, and it was pretty together. Right now, we want you to identify how you can create a welcoming space for those that are not safe. Not a space. I want you to focus on attention, not from that space, not a space. But because Utah is the place, and it's time for us to shout it from the mountaintop, because it can only make us better. Utah is a brand, and you all are flawless. Cameron will want us to pick up the mantle and pass the opportunity to talent and research. Why? Because talent is the opportunity. The charge tonight is not about a loss. The charge tonight is about what we are going to gain from what we had to experience while Cameron was doing so. I'm asking you guys to take the series and to represent each other. We are all here to make this a better place and to live this life the way we live. Now I'd like to go to video so you understand who I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Russell Williams.
Chicago here to Utah. We really love and appreciate you so much. We are now pleased to move on to the recognition part of today's program, where we will learn a little more about each of our other honorees. The first category this evening will be recognizing individuals and groups that are doing their part with engaging in community involvement. If you would please turn your attention to the video screen.
I started Good Company Theater back in 2012. We are located in Ogden, Utah. Our mission is to develop and promote high-quality, eclectic theatrical productions, forging new relationships between audiences, performers, and spaces in the process. I was pursuing a career on stage, and I started to see that there weren't a lot of stories that were representative of people of color or people from diverse backgrounds in general. And I really started to want to be a part of that process of deciding those stories that were going to be told on stage. So one day I called my sister, who is the co-director of Good Company Theater, Camille Washington. She was finishing up a fellowship at the Walker Arts Museum in Minneapolis, and I said, I think I want to start a theater company. And she said, okay, let's do it. And from there, we have learned a lot of lessons. We've grown immensely, but I'm proud to say that we're almost 9 years in, and we're growing as a theater company, not from the talent that we work with, but also with the patrons that come through our door, and the recognition of Ogden's only professional theater company.
Alicia and Camille could not be with us today, and as they are having an opening night for their first show in over 18 months. Pretty exciting, right? We are so happy for them. If you would please welcome to the stage to accept this award on their behalf this evening, Yolanda Stang, I hope I pronounced that correctly, from Good Company Theater, a board member. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Yolanda Stang, and I am one of the proud members of Good Company Theater's board. Tonight I want to read a statement from Alicia and Camille. They've done a wonderful job building this theater company in Ogden. And they just wanted to let you know that tonight is the opening of our first performance in 18 months. Fremont Junior High is Not Doing Oklahoma by Paul Michael Thomas. It's gonna be a fun one. So we just opened tonight and we're super excited. Good Company is honored to be here tonight, and we recognize what this award means, not only to others who are coming up in the industry, but to what it will mean for us to continue in this industry. Theater is hard. Live theater is even harder. We've been rocked by the pandemic, and we've been fortunate enough to survive. We are acutely aware of what COVID-19 has ravaged, how it has ravaged our communities and people of color. Our businesses have been shattered and at higher rates, and friends and families we have endured, and some we have lost. We pay tribute to these losses by persisting, by going forward and forging new ground in public health and safety in our practices, and bearing witness to you and what we can do. Thank you so much for having us.
Kawatalk is a men support group that holds abusers accountable and help women domestic violence. About 6 years ago, my wife took me to a conference in San Francisco. It's a domestic violence conference. And I realized then that most of the Polynesian women have been violated, abused. And they are alone. For them to get help, I think that men should stand up with them, should help them out. When women get hurt like that, it's like an epidemic that needs to be stopped. But without us men standing up and be on their side, shoulder to shoulder, to help them out, it's gonna be a lost cause. So that's what we do. We educate people before the abuse happens. We have group every week to let women know where we stand and how we can help them.
Please welcome Simi Poteki Maloifa'o. Wait, is this your uncle?
My Uncle Simi Poteki Maloifa'o.
Founder of Kava Talks, Knowledge Above All Violence. Together.
When we started this group, we had an idea that we know that when good people sits back and do nothing, bad things happen. And that's why we started. I'm sure that everybody knows that domestic and sexual violence is an evil that is going to take over if we do not do anything. So what we do, we try to stand up with women and at least say something. That's the beginning. To be healed, at the same time, try to find our way to battle this evil in our community. And I really appreciate this. They recognize the work that we have done it, but I'm not alone. Most of the men of cover talks speak out against domestic violence. And I hope that all of us will join together and fight this battle against our women, our children, and most of us. Thank you very much. But for me to accept this award, I want my nephew right here, Camp Slc, to accept it for me. Because he is the next generation of Polynesians that will fight this battle in the next few years to come. Thank you very much.
Camp SLC is an amazing place that is aiming to change the music industry locally here in Utah. It's a rock camp for kids, girls, trans, and non-binary children to come and join a band, learn an instrument, write an original song, learn about empowerment, building each other up, and at the end of the week, they all perform with their band for an adoring crowd of people. And I truly believe that we are changing how kids feel about themselves and also the music industry. I would love to see inclusion and diversity become a main focal point of every conversation that happens here in Utah. Whether you're talking about business or school or entertainment or all of it, we know that a diverse culture and diverse people is better. It's healthier, it's happier, it's more interesting, it's better art, it's better music. It just makes the world a better place. My message to the people is that you have music inside of you. People feel like, oh, I can't play or I can't do this. Every human being has a heart that beats, and that beat keeps that music going. And I truly feel like music's a universal language that changes the world. And I just want our young kids, our young girls, our queer kids, our trans kids, and non-binary kids to know that you matter, you were put on this planet, and you existing is an act of resistance. So please keep doing it.
Awesome. Let's go. Let's go. Well, without further ado, please welcome to the stage from Rock Camp Salt Lake City, the music director, Talia Key.
Congratulations, dude. Awesome.
What? Living Color, make some noise. I am honored to be here. What an amazing, incredible evening of just incredible humans that are changing the face of Utah. Utah is not just white. Utah is not just straight. Utah is not just one religion, right? Utah is a beautiful, diverse, cultural melting pot of amazing human beings that are forever changing the landscape of this state, right? So I just want to say, they keep telling us the future is female, the future is fluid, the future is queer, the future is diverse. No. Now is female. Now is queer. Now is diverse. Now is fluid. So existence is a resistance. Thank you all for the amazing work you do to make this state a better place. Much love. Thank you. And thank you. Woo. I cannot say thank you enough to my co-directors who are here tonight. We got Hillary McDaniel, Shell Danis, and Milan Atkinson. And, you know, we are a team. The four of us put camp on, but we have hundreds of volunteers that do it to make it happen. So it's not just me, y'all. One love. Thank you so much.
So the whole story was my daughter, we went to the rec center down in Redwood Road, and my daughter saw several people dancing this Mexican traditional dance, and she came up to me, hey, I wanna do that Mexican dance, she called it. And I'm like, oh, I used to do that when I was a little kid. I used to teach that, and I used to dance that. We were with a group for a year, then we decided to make our own. My daughter's like, I want you to make your own with a couple of her friends. And that's how the Ballet Folklorico was born, because of my daughter's wishes. When I watch my daughter dance, Amelia, I feel like another part of me showing the world what I feel. Like, I know that she's on her own little world, looking at this dance, looking at the people, but then I do see her smile, that she is so happy because of what she's doing and because I taught her. And that's one of the things that makes me feel emotional, and sometimes that I cry, because I know that she is doing what she loves and also learning about our community, our history.
Please welcome to the stage the founder and artistic director of Ballet Folklorico, Davis Silos Aguirre.
I got here saying, I'm gonna say a lot of things, but after I saw this video, I have no words. First, I wanna say thank you for my wife, for her support, my Ballet Folklorico team. I do wanna share a little something. Back in 1994, I was told that we have to move countries, and we moved to Logan, Utah. Back then, well, I live in Mexico, so it was pretty far for me. I lost all my friends. However, on the meantime that I got there, on the winter of 1994, I only have 6 Hispanic friends, 2 Asian friends, 1 Ethiopian friend, and 2 Japanese friends, which at this point, I still talk to them, and we all bond like brothers. And I feel that Utah could be something like that, with all our communities be bonded as a one person a whole. Thank you for this award.
All right, everyone, let's give one more big round of applause for our community involvement honorees. Let's now look at the corporations that are working hard to bring diversity and inclusion awareness to their businesses. Please turn your attention to the video screens.
Well, we have an interesting story. About 20 years ago, we had Pat Jones and the Dan Jones Group do a survey and a focus group on what people thought of Zions Bank. And Pat asked the question in this focus group, how would you describe Zions as an individual? And they described us basically as a middle-aged, white, balding individual who drove a Cadillac, lived in a gated community, and was not very friendly. And when I heard that, I thought, that is not the image that I want for the bank. And so we set up a women's business center, and then we set up a minority lending center, and then we set up reports that would track wage gaps among our employees. And so we have really tried to focus on diversity and inclusion and equity in how we do business, and how we hire, on how we develop our talent, and how we bring an inclusive economy to our neighborhood and community and state.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President and CEO of Zions Bank, Scott Anderson.
Well, thank you, Utah Business, for sponsoring and bringing this Living Color Gala to Utah. And I want to congratulate all of those pacemakers and leaders that are doing so much to achieve the dream that Martin Luther King had over 60 years ago, that we would be a better society here, an equal society here, a diverse society here, an inclusive society here. And I want to recognize and have stand the employees of Zions Bank that are here tonight that are working so hard to bring this to pass. So please stand and give them a round of applause. Thank you so much.
The banner that we use for all of our D&I work at Adobe is called Adobe for All, because we truly believe that being creative and being passionate about the work you do comes from a very, very diverse population. And diversity is not just the right thing to do, it's the right thing for the business as well. Adobe has done a lot of work on pay parity. Now, that's just one surface of the conversation. Are you paying your people fairly, right? The deeper conversation is to ask yourself, and ask the companies to ask yourself, are you presenting the right opportunities, fair opportunities to your people, right? So we're doing the more difficult work of saying, where is their opportunity parity? And I'm really, really, really proud of the organization for doing that by not stopping at, just the bare bone numbers, right? Asking the deeper questions every time. The important thing is to sort of prime the existing population here, the community here, the offices here, to make sure that they are creating an inclusive environment for the population that's coming, right? I mean, we need to do a lot of work to make sure that people know how to kind of engage in conversations. The inclusion side is so important here because we have to be very aware of the community that we're creating now.
Please welcome to the stage Archana Thiagarajan, Senior Director of Experience Design with Adobe.
Thank you, Utah Business. Thank you, Adobe. And thank you to the amazing individuals that make it incredibly, incredibly competitive for corporations to ask themselves a question. If an individual can do as much as they do, corporations have, guess what? That much multiple more responsibility to take on and contribute to this conversation. The interesting coincidence of this week for me is that my company has this summit that we call Adobe for All. It's a week that we celebrate diversity, bring in these amazing conversations, and the highlight for me is to hear about employee stories. And we get to celebrate the diversity that just doesn't stop at your skin color, your gender orientation, the things that we normally think are the ones that we talk about, that goes much deeper. Today I heard a story about an amazing individual who's born to a black father and a white mother. He's born white. He grew up as a child, he had white blonde hair, but as he grew up to a teenager, his hair changed to curly black hair. And then as a young youth, and as he moved on to going into college, he lost all of his hair. Last year, can you imagine what his internal struggle was? It's incredibly important that we are there to support each other as humans. Kindness is so important. And that's why it gives me so much pride to work for a company like Adobe that thrives on values like genuine, being involved, being inspired, and being innovative. Because these are the qualities we need today. And like Talia said, to be now in the present and make tomorrow a gift for everybody else. And I'm so honored to be able to take this award on behalf of Adobe because this doesn't represent me by any means. It's a work of a village, a community, the Adobe offices we have everywhere, and particularly my Brady's bunch here at Utah, where people like me stand out a lot more. So I'm so thankful for all of the work all of you do over here and the work that we're going to continue doing. Thank you.
Okay, the next category this evening will introduce us to our distinguished leaders. Please turn your attention to the video screens to learn more about them.
From where I'm from, people do not get doctorate. So rural North Carolina, like chicken houses, deer hit your car all year, no street lights. And so even coming up in that environment to make good money, you usually had to work in a factory or sell drugs. So being focused, with precision focus is something that I've had to learn how to be for a very, very long time. And even on top of that, being that I'm a black male, I've had to learn how to play the game of life in terms of it being a game of chess instead of checkers. So in terms of code switching and so many other things to get to where I am has been key. For me as a black male, I have a 47% higher chance of dying from colon cancer than a white male. And so I've been in this space looking at this disparity and bringing awareness to it all around the globe, North America, Jamaica, Japan, South Africa, Kenya, etc., for over a decade. You know, most people are more familiar with colorectal cancer among black men because of the death of Chadwick Boseman, better known as the Black Panther. And so it's for people like Chadwick, my Aunt Joanne, and so many others that I've met that are here, and as well as those that are going on, that this was necessary.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage the founder and president of the Colorectal Cancer Equity Foundation, Dr. Charles Rogers.
One, two, check. We're on. Okay, awesome. So first of all, congrats to all the honorees. Thanks to all of those who are honoring us today. So every morning in Africa, an antelope wakes up and knows that it must outrun the fastest lion or it will die. Similarly, a lion wakes up every day and every morning in Africa and knows that it must outrun the fastest antelope, gazelle, etc., or it'll starve to death. The point of the story is, regardless if you're the antelope or the lion, when you wake up in the morning, you better be running. In that same vein as it relates to my leadership in regards to transitioning from an antelope to a lion in terms of my intensity, it would not be possible without my relationship with Christ. It wouldn't be possible without my secret weapon, the breath in my lungs, my wife, Dr. Tiana Rogers. It wouldn't be possible without my ancestors, my family, and anyone else who's been the key in my tribe. Thank you all so much for your time. God bless. Bless God.
Every now and again, something special will happen. And for me, I had a very special moment happen about 2 weeks ago. I pulled into McDonald's to get a cup of coffee. And the young man gave me the cup of coffee and he said, "I know you don't remember me, but you changed my life." And I said, "Oh, do tell." He said, "Well, the things you said to me when I was in front of you," he said, "between you and my mother, it changed my life, and that's why I'm here today." And I thought, okay, that's why I do this. We need to see people at all levels, in all industries. You know, it's not rocket science. Diversity works, and we don't utilize the people that we have. There's a tremendous glass ceiling, or if you're a person of color, it might be a concrete ceiling. And so that is not utilized, and we would be so much richer, so much better if, in fact, we capitalized on the resources that we have.
Please welcome to the stage Senior Director, UX Product Design with Lendio, Rich Paulson, to present the award.
On behalf of Lendio, we are proud to present this award tonight. So congratulations, and please join me in welcoming Judge Shauna Graves Robertson with the Salt Lake County Justice Court.
I know you can't see me, can you? That's all right, but you'll be able to hear me. First, thanking my Heavenly Father who orders my steps. To my pastor, my amazing husband, family, and sorority sisters who are here with me this evening. And to each and every one of you, good evening. I want to thank Utah Business and the individual who took the time to put together the application that made it possible that I receive this award. I am humbled and I am honored. However, it is my hope that when you think of me, that you put another word before the word leader, and that is the word servant. Because I have lived my life and will continue to live my life to serve, whether it has been in my church under the tutelage of Pastor Emeritus France A. Davis or the late Dr. Alberta Henry, longtime president of the Salt Lake branch NAACP, whether it has been personally, as I have served for over 40 years, Alpha, Kappa Alpha, Sorority Incorporated, a service organization that was started in 1908 by a group of college women. In 1908, one generation from slavery, with the goal to serve all mankind. Or whether it has been professionally, where for the last 22 years I have sat as a Salt Lake County Justice Court judge. And I want you to know that whether I see somebody in a jumpsuit or in a three-piece suit, we are all God's children. And it is not until we become servants of one another that we will achieve the diversity and inclusion that we seek. Thank you.
I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, which is in Southern Africa. I originally came to the US on an academic scholarship. I worked for a little bit on the East Coast before moving to Utah with Goldman Sachs. Before moving to Utah, the only thing I knew about Utah was the Utah Jazz. But it's been 9 years here. My two daughters are born and raised in Utah. And we found that this has been one of the most welcoming environments that my wife and I could have hoped for to start a family. We love Utah, we're all in, and hopefully other people sort of realize that this is a great place to start their careers, but also to build families as well. I think the importance of diversity and inclusion in business is bringing together folks that have different perspectives. There's been a ton of use cases and business cases that have been done around this, and every single one of them points that more inclusive teams, more inclusive organizations tend to come out on top. So you want to thrive in business, make sure that you have diverse teams. As a Black software engineer, I like to sort of, break the glass ceiling. Growing up, I never thought that I would be in this position where I'd be working for such a big organization. So every day I try to, bring my best foot forward in everything that I do, and inspire others to know that they can do the same thing.
Please join us in welcoming to the stage Simba Mapanga, Vice President of Engineering with Goldman Sachs.
I know what you must all be thinking. Simba, I came first before the Lion King movie. So just to get that out there. I have prepared remarks. I don't get to do this a lot, so please bear with me. In my culture, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I am originally from Zimbabwe. And in my culture, we have a saying that says, Munu, Munu nekuda kwevanu, which translates to, a person is a person through other persons, which most of you might have already heard as the Ubuntu philosophy. A popular Zimbabwean scholar summed it up perfectly by describing Ubuntuism as, to be human is to affirm one's humanity by recognizing the humanity of others, and on that basis, establish respectful human relations with them. This philosophy has been one that has guided me throughout my life, and in a lot of ways led me to the stage with you all today. I am who I am because of the actions, kindness, and guidance of many. Through my journey in Utah, I have met and interacted with so many amazing, impactful leaders that have shaped this wonderful state into a place that I can proudly call home. See, for me, when I moved here, like most transplants that come to Utah, I had this part of my journey lasting 2 years before relocating somewhere else. On the surface, the things that I read, heard, and knew about Utah couldn't have been further from the reality that I found. The reality of leaders that have dedicated so much to create a welcoming state. The reality of companies that work tirelessly to attract and retain top talent, and allow their employees the opportunities to lead out in the communities, of which I'm very lucky to work for one such company. The reality of a state leadership that partners very closely with many organizations in this state to continue to move the needle when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which we witnessed last year when the governor and the Black community got together in the most difficult of circumstances to have dialogue and propose reforms that further make Utah an accommodating state to so many. We also witnessed this earlier this month when the MLK Commission launched a new license plate in honor of Dr. King's legacy, which I cannot wait to see on our roads. For me, a self-professed geek that loves to write software, to receive this leadership award owes to the leadership that has been exhibited by others before me. I want to thank my employer, Goldman Sachs. I want to thank my community, the MLK Commission, the National Society of Black Engineers, the Black Chamber of Commerce, and many friends that I now call family. Thank you to my wife and my 2 daughters who are my ultimate bosses. And lastly, for allowing me to call this place home, thank you, Utah.
Wow, what an incredible group, huh? Let's give them one more round of applause. Wow. So powerful. We will now honor those individuals that are making a difference in our education category. Please turn your attention to the video screens to learn a little bit more.
So what fueled my journey is based on really my personal experience and my academic one, as well as my professional. I grew up as a daughter of immigrant parents from the islands of Tonga. I am also a mother of Indigenous children, and I'm a first-generation college student. So when I moved to Utah, it was actually my first time off of the rock in Hawaii. And when I came to Utah, I really recognized what it felt like and became more aware of what it felt like to be a woman of color. And that was really eye-opening for me. The most rewarding parts of my job is really the people that I work with. Knowing that I do not have to do the heavy lift alone, and that there are other people who see diversity, equity, and inclusion work as part of their responsibility, makes the work not only feasible, but much easier. And I think that's how we've been able to move the needle and advance the work at Utah Valley University.
Please give a warm welcome to Belinda Otukolo Saltibun for her work as a Chief Inclusion and Diversity Officer at Utah Valley University.
Malolele. Good evening, everyone. I also prepared some remarks. I want to say thank you first and foremost to the Utah Business and Living Color organization for this prestigious award. It is such a privilege and an honor to share space with all of you in this room, with all of you as advocates, allies, accomplices in this critical moment as well. This work is so critical, as you all know, because the consequences of racism, of nativism, and of oppression are grave. I am proud of the work that I've been privileged to lead at Utah Valley University. My work with students, staff, faculty, administrators, and our trustees have been meaningful in influencing the way we seek knowledge, the way we share it, the way we educate the next generation of leaders. It has been quite an honor to contribute to and educate and lead and learn and contribute to the state of Utah. All of this work has been life-changing, and I am fortunate to be able to continue my journey after 24 years outside of the state of Utah. I flew in last night from Nashville, and I am now, while I am no longer in Utah, I'm proud to say that it's because of Utah that I've been successful in my next journey as the Associate Vice Chancellor at Vanderbilt University. But all of this to say is, this award is dedicated to the community of Utah Valley University, which I am biased, but I will say is the best university in the state of Utah. It's because of this work that I was able to engage in, I was able to engage in this work because of the Utah Valley University community. I'd like to close with a call to action following the words of Cameron's sister at the beginning. But I would like to quote also a scholar whose name was Linda Tuiwai Smith, who stated, "Love is the highest form of intelligence, and with that, I challenge all of you to challenge others to let love be the center of your work and to drive us and to challenge oppression and actively engage in actions that root out hate in all of its forms." Thank you so very much.
My mother is retired public school teacher from Chicago, and my father was one of Dr. Martin Luther King's bodyguards. So he was in charge of Chief of Security for Operation Breadbasket. And I think it's the mixture between my mother being a teacher, my father fighting for social justice that brought me into this kind of hybrid career, trying to help people do better, see better, and understand better. Fortunately, I think after 2020, that's was a watershed moment for a lot of people. And they realized how much we didn't know about each other, but we saw that there was a lot of people who were inspired by the terrible events to try to be a part of social justice. So really what's happened in the last year is a lot of people have been trying to be more educated. And we see the benefits of diversity. When we have a more diverse university, a more diverse society, a more diverse business, we all do better. My hope and my accomplishments is just to make people have a better quality of life and be healthy, physically, mentally, spiritually, in all ways.
Please welcome to the stage from the University of Utah, Professor and Chair, Dr. William A. Smith.
Oh, these lights are bright. Thank you. I'm honored to be here. You know, receiving this award kind of puts things into perspective, brings things to reality. The fact is that I realized I couldn't fit my tailor-made tux. I had to go out and rent this thing. It also allowed me to come out for the first time in a big group of people. I mean, I've only been out in public maybe 7 times, and that was in small groups, very small groups. So this is the largest gathering that I've ever been in 18 months. The good and bad of it is my pastor caught me, and he said, "I'll see you in church Sunday." So Dr. Moses, my fraternity brother, I'll be there Sunday. Pray for me, though. Also, I would just like to really thank the great institution. And first, before I do that, Belinda, I think I'm gonna have to change a grade in your class. I think you forgot where you're from. I can't see you, but you know you're a graduate from my department. So I've talked to the provost. I'm sitting at the table with him. So remember, the University of Utah is the #1 institution in this state. And so I really want to thank the University of Utah, the School of Transformation, and the College of Education. I could not have been in a better place to talk about race-related stress, talk about racial battle fatigue, and still have a job. So I applaud those leaders and the Dean of Transform and the Dean of the College of Education for all that they've done to make that a great place for me. Regarding our business, my wife, who should be here with me, she's teaching tonight, she's 50% owner, so I get fringe benefits for sleeping with the boss. This also makes you realize how blessed you are. And I get to wake up every morning and look at my wife and realize how blessed, how fortunate I am to be with somebody over 30 years and looking for another 30 years. So she's the real person that's with this award that I get. And lastly, I'm very grateful to all the people who made this possible, the people who read the letters, or put the packages together, the nomination committee, selection committee. And I also want to shout out my homeboy, Cameron, from Chicago, for all that he did in this community. Thank you.
Clubability is an organization who looking for to increase the diversity in computer science. Especially we helped or encourage to children, especially Latinos or children with special needs, in order they love to computer science or love technologies, and they will be the future creator of technology. But not only technology, an inclusive technology. If we can do a diversity team who create technology, it will be awesome. It will be an impact in the new products of technology. It will be an impact for the new workforce, and we need to encourage these students in a fun way. They deserve the opportunity to know the technology, and they are able to create with coding or with technology this software who improve their life and who improve our life.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage, the Director of Club Ability, Juliet Bautista.
Buenas noches, good evening. It's a huge honor for me to receive the Living Color Award. I like to dedicate this award to my daughter, Jimena, who inspired me to create Clubability, my husband Aníbal, my parents Victor and Julia, my sister Carla and Luz, and my students. In Utah, tech occupation are less diverse than were tech workers nationwide. Utah has the 17% of the job occupied by minority, while it is 36% in the USA. The mission of Clubability is encourage to minority students, such as Latinos and special needs, to become involved in computer science and STEM careers. Many unconscious biases exist in the creation of technology that limits the minority communities. My students have the gift of brilliant minds. As they learn code, they are able to create inclusive technology. I think we can together to make the world of tech be truly inclusive and truly accessible. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Wow, okay. We would now like to recognize our honoree in the government category. Please turn your attention to the video screens.
The Utah Division of Multicultural Affairs partners with community organizations that are serving predominantly communities that are underserved and historically marginalized. And we have been humbled, especially during this past year, to see the resiliency in which they serve not only people who have emergency needs, but really all families, to ensure that they aren't forgotten or that they fall through the cracks. And they always do it with so much compassion, dignity, and respect. What I'd like to see for businesses to start doing as it relates to equity, diversity, and inclusion is to lead with equity. And the reason for that is because this is a systems analysis approach that is oftentimes missing in our initiatives. We want to lead with unconscious bias trainings and invite people to feel more compassion for communities. And although that is one critical part of the conversation, it really has to be about addressing institutional practices and uprooting practices that are exclusionary or perpetuate systemic oppression. So how do we reimagine and re-envision the way we've done things so that those who have been historically isolated or missing from the sectors and our fields are actually centered and their voices are at the table?
Please welcome to the stage my friend, Nubia Peña, Senior Advisor of Equity and Opportunity with the Governor's Office and Director with the Utah Division of Multicultural Affairs. Nubia.
Buenas noches, good evening. It is such a pleasure to be with you. And as many have already said and shared, it is incredibly humbling, to be recognized amongst the individuals that have already crossed the stage and have been recognized for the impact that they are leaving in our community. So thank you to Utah Business and Living Color Gala for acknowledging the many efforts of diverse individuals who have the heart to serve, who have the willingness to every day show up, and who are committed to saying we can do better for our communities to be inclusive and diverse. So I want to just share a few remarks in recognizing that we have an opportunity to make sure that every person in the state of Utah is seen, valued, and that their beautiful and complex humanity, their intersectional identities, are not only just seen, but honored and loved and cherished. I share this award with our beautiful MCA team, who are the heart of our division and who lead with so much heart and compassion. I share this award with every frontline service provider that have been selflessly serving for the past 16 months to help us recover and to make sure that no one is left behind. I also share this award with every person in this room that has spoken life over me, has prayed over me, and has been willing to be a family to me when I have cried because the work is painful, when I have wanted to give up because the challenges cut deep, but when I've also been able to celebrate with them in community when we've been able to make strides forward in our equity work. I pray that our call to action, which was given today by our dearly beloved and departed Cameron's family, takes root in our heart and reminds us of our power, our gift, and our calling to leave this world better than we found it. I pray that we be the bridge builders, the healers, and the dreamers that refuse to leave anything less than a legacy full of hope, full of grace, and full of mercy. Thank you, Utah, for being my home. I love you, I thank you, and I look forward to serving with you in our journey to make Utah a more inclusive place to live. Thank you.
We are now pleased to recognize our inspirational leadership honorees. If you would please turn your attention to the video screen.
So Mended Hope is a premium consulting company for high-impact women who may be struggling to overcome life disruptions. So we work with women from all walks of life who may be needing some encouragement and some guidance around life challenges. If you find yourself in a tough situation or life throws you an unexpected blow, just know that you're not alone, and there are people who may not be able to resonate exactly with your experience, but pain is universal and suffering is universal. And so I think that there are always people who are ready to respond and to help meet a need if you find yourself in need of support. I would say don't believe the lie that you're by yourself.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage, Dr. Tiana Rogers, founder and CEO of Mended Hope.
Good evening. So I started Mended Hope with the desire to help women overcome shattered dreams and lost hope, because pain doesn't discriminate. And I am extremely humbled tonight to be honored for doing that work. And so I'm very appreciative of the Utah business as well as the Living Color Utah. I'm also wanting to acknowledge my gratitude to God, my husband, Dr. Charles Rogers, my dad, my bonus mom, my sister, and my brother-in-law who traveled across the country to be here to support me tonight. I actually wouldn't be who I am without those people. And so this award is as much theirs as it is mine. And last but certainly not least, congratulations to all my fellow awardees. Thank you and God bless.
I come from Pakistan, but I'm Afghani. I was refugee in the Pakistan. When I come to Pakistan, I go to the refugee center and then I make a case. After that, they choose for me the city. You know, I was don't know where they gonna take me, but they take me in the Utah. Refugee center has helped me a lot. You know, I start from refugee center and then I met the woman in the refugee center. They have a kid. They have a problem, they cannot working outside the home, and then I'm starting found a job for them. They can make a money at home. Right now they are working with me, and then I'm doing cutting and prepare everything, drop off for them, and then pick up. They are working at home. I'm buy a machine for them. They have our own machine at home, a sewing machine. We're working like that. Free woman means to me freedom. I help them, and then they help their family back to my country. Especially the woman. Afghanistan woman is like not a human, just for born the baby. When they make money here, they can help their family in Afghanistan. We cannot make money if they give us a chance, like US women.
Please welcome to the stage Hunifu Javadi, founder and CEO of Free Women. Congratulations.
I'm so honored to be here tonight. Life was difficult as child brought in Afghanistan. I had no freedom, but I would dream about one day I own a sewing business. Sorry, I have stress. But I would dream about one day I own a sewing business that give women income, so that freedom, so they can be freedom. In 2016, I came to Salt Lake City as refugee, divorced and single mom with my 3 kids. I was excited to see the woman they can drive a car and they walk around by themselves. When I saw them, I want to be strong like them. In 2020, I start Free Woman. And over the past year, I have turned an employee 26 women in Salt Lake City who are from Afghanistan. I have taught each of them to sew beautiful items. During this job, they can make a money. They have own money, and they have a freedom. Free woman means for me freedom. Thank you.
Beta Boom is a pre-seed fund. We invest in the rising majority. So we're looking for opportunities that serve typically overlooked markets and are typically run by founders who are women and founders of color. I was living in the Bay Area, and I believe looking around really was what pushed me to decide that I needed to be somewhere else. I was in the tech industry, and we were serving predominantly the 1%. So if we look at who's served by the technology that comes out of the Bay Area, it tends to be a very elite group, and I wanted to see better innovation. So I made a conscientious effort to look outside and start to find other tech hubs that were growing that I thought had a great opportunity. And of course, Salt Lake continues to be on top of those lists. Came in the beginning of 2018, and it was very evident to me that it was growing and that we could have a great life here. And so I jumped in and moved here. Diversity and inclusion is the most important thing today, and not because of any reason for societal hope, which there is a lot of it, but economic reasons. There's just been so much evidence that companies perform better when they value and embody having a diverse workforce and working toward diversity for society in a whole.
Please give a warm welcome to Kimmy Palouche, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Managing Director with Beta Boom.
That's fine, I had to learn it too. Thank you so much, Living Color and Utah Business. I should have prepared remarks. Everyone has spoken so well tonight, but you know, it is humbling, but it's really wonderful to be in the presence of the other awardees. So congratulations, and beyond congratulations, thank you. This work needs to be done. Change is really, really difficult, and systemic change is even harder. I work in an industry, in venture capital, where we're complacent that 2.3% of the capital goes to women. Less than 1% go to people that look like me. Women of color, Black women specifically, less than 2% when you combine Black and Latinx. It's abysmal, yet we're complacent with these numbers. Last year, we saw the impacts of systemic racism and bias. We saw countless people of color die from COVID in extraordinary amounts relative to our white counterparts. It's not enough. And change is hard, and it's difficult. So I thank everybody in this room for being here and doing the hard work. And thank you for this recognition, because the more that we can tell these stories of the powerful things that we're doing, the more that this change can accelerate. I have hope because of rooms like this. I have hope that we can change what people say about Utah, that what people say about who can do technology, who can be in the computer science industry, who can do anything, be president, vice president. The time really is now, as was said before. And I really, really am so humbled that I'm getting this award when Cameron is being recognized. His leadership will echo forever. And thank you to the families. The work is now, and we will continue to do that and do his legacy honor. Thank you for everything, and thank you for having this night with us. Thank you.
Project Black Girls focuses on families who adopt kids of color, and we provide resources and we provide a safe space for not only the young Black girls, but also parents who, when they did this selfless act of taking these kids, are also taking on culture. And we are trying to provide resources as well as a support system for them, as well as their kids, to be able to explore themselves and to be able to ask questions that is part of their identity and part of who they are as a person. I am adopted myself. I remember what it was like for my mom to not be able to do my hair, or having to deal with racism in school settings, church settings. That's where this all came from. Obviously personal reasons, but as well as wanting to empower, ignite, strengthen women of color who are young, as well as their parents, to be able to build that foundation for them in the home as well as outside. I think it's something that needs to be talked about more, and not only talked about, but act upon. What can we do? What needs to be done? I think talking about it is one thing, but there needs to be action that takes place to provide that empowerment, that safe space, as well as a unification of a group. So important, I feel like.
Welcome to the stage, the co-founder of Project Black Girl, Stephanie Nguyen Draper.
Hi guys. Wow, seriously, this is an honor. I don't even know what to say besides thank you. Thank you so much, Living Color, and most importantly, Utah Business, for putting up this event and shedding light on such important topics here in Utah. I want to first start by saying thank you. Thank you to my family for all their support and for their love and unconditional, they're my fans, so I'm really excited, and I love that I have that. I'm very grateful for my husband, who is not here today, but I feel him all the way from Hawaii. Project Black Girl is such a personal, and it roots really deep inside my heart. And as many as all of these organizations that are open and has started. But the most important thing is we're creating a home and a place for young girls of color who are brought here from all different parts of the world to be put in families, either of color or not of color. And what do they have to deal with? What struggles do they have to overcome to be able to fit in this world that is super duper hard? And because in this world, they're not enough. They're either not Black enough, or they're either not white enough, or they're either not anything enough. And so Project Black Girl creates a space for us to provide information for parents who take on this amazing journey, as well as these young girls to find inspiration in music, in people that look like them through art, through magazines, finding events, and especially through books. These are very impactful because as a young girl, I myself had that struggle. I just also would love to thank this woman that I have met in Africa. I had the opportunity to go to Uganda a couple years ago, and I remember very vividly her story that she told me long ago. We were in the villages, and this woman is a teacher, and she looked at me and said, "How did you get your skin so fair?" And I look at her and I said, "Well, I'm mixed." And she's like, no, but how did you get it so fair?" And I looked at her, I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm mixed. I'm a mixed breed." And she looked at me and she said, "Only I wish I could be your skin tone." And she pulled out these lotions, and these lotions were whitening techniques to make herself white or lighter. That broke my heart. And every day, as I go about, me and my amazing co-founder, Bree Ray, over there, As we go about finding a way to impact these young girls, we think of this story and we think of how many girls each day do they sit in the bathtub trying to scrub their skin off because they don't look like their parents? How many times have they experienced racism or not equality in their schooling as well as with their date mates? All of these things are detrimental to their life because it's such a huge part of who they are right now, the younger generation. And so I am so honored to receive this award, not only for Project Black Girl, but for those young girls who every day look up Project Black Girl's website and follow us and find that inclusion here in Utah. I am so thankful and thank you so very much.
And those honorees were just that, weren't they? Inspirational. Would you agree? Now let's give them another hand. Wonderful. Wow. What an inspirational night. We're moving right along and are pleased to recognize 3 individuals in our nonprofit category. Please turn your attention once again to the video screens.
The goal of GK Folks Foundation is to showcase African culture, enlighten people about African heritage, and give young African immigrants an opportunity to showcase themselves and also get scholarship to go to school as a result. The foundation was officially registered in 2015, and we have since grown to not just providing and enlightening people about African culture, but also providing educational, entrepreneurship, and mental health resources for people of color. When we came here over 10 years ago, we did not notice that people were open to learning more cultures. But as a result of the activities we put in place, we noticed that people are excited about different cultures and they want to learn more. What I would like to see in Utah is just acceptance of new cultures, new people, understanding where they come from, and helping them to adapt to the community. Utah is doing a good job, and I feel like they can continue and be better as well.
Please give a warm welcome to Sandra Holland, Utah State Representative and Community Engagement and Responsibility Administrator with Zions Bank, our gold sponsor, to introduce our honoree.
On behalf of Zions Bank, please help me in bringing to the stage Ms. Gloria Mensah.
From a small village in Nigeria, West Africa, to Utah and to this stage, I am honored. I am honored to be recognized by one of the most prestigious organizations in Utah, Utah Business. Thank you so much. I am honored to be recognized by the Living Color, and I just want to say thank you for this award. It's a miracle coming from Nigeria to Utah and being on this stage. I am grateful. I also want to say thank you to Leonard Bagawa for recognizing me and nominating me for this award. I am grateful. Thank you. I dedicate this award to a group of individuals who have dedicated time, money, talent, effort over the course of 10 years, from poor college students to professionals with doctorate and master's degrees and volunteering their time and everything they have to GK Folks. I just want to say thank you to the GK Folks Foundation team. Please give a shout out to them on that table 26. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please stand with me, I beg you. All the GK folks, stand with me
This award is yours. Thank you. Thank you. From Nigeria to Hawaii and then to Utah, I have experienced culture. I have experienced a lot of culture. And I felt like there was a need for people to understand where we're from. I had people ask me questions like, did you swim from Nigeria here? Do you live on trees? Do you guys have cars? At first, I was terrified about those kind of questions. But then I was like, hey, it's my responsibility to enlighten people about where we're from. And that's where GK Folks Foundation started. Our goal, again, is to enlighten people about various African cultures and give young African immigrants opportunity to showcase themselves, get scholarship to go to school, and also participate in our various workshops to help them be the American person they want to be, or to help them have the ability to be able to speak in public or even understand American culture. We do that in addition to the support from everybody here, including all the Utah businesses that have supported us in the past. We just want to say thank you. Thank you to Zions Bank. Thank you to the University of Utah. Thank you to all the Utah community that have supported us. I just want to say I am grateful. We love you, Utah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And lastly, before I leave, there are three most important people in my life I want to recognize, actually more than three. My sisters who flew all the way from Maryland and California to be here today, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the support. My husband, who without him, I wouldn't be standing here, and I'll just give you a very quick story. There was one day after one of our events, we were driving home like at 1 a.m. and I was sleeping on the steering. I literally was going off the road. Luckily, he was driving behind me. He called me and talked to me throughout the whole time till we got home so I don't sleep off the steering. Thank you, Freebody Mensa. I am grateful for your love and support. And lastly, my mom is here and my mother-in-law, and I just want to say thank you for supporting me, both of you, for bringing me and my husband up to be who we are today, to be able to give back to the community. I just want to say thank you, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
I was born and raised in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu, and raised in a small town called Laie. Not a lot of resources. And growing up, we've always had to look for resources for our families. I was drawn to helping other people connect to resources because we had gone through the system and we're connected through my mom and her experiences, and ended up doing a lot of outreach. I loved it. And so I went back to school for social work, got my bachelor's and then my master's in social work. I ended up overseeing the community health worker program, and then moved to Utah and ended up building the community health worker section at the Utah Public Health Association. What motivates me is that I know a lot of people that community health workers serve. I come from the communities that they serve. Because I have a place at the table to talk about what those real barriers are on the ground, I'm able to speak and be a voice for a lot of those underserved communities, and I think that has been huge.
Please welcome to the stage the CHW Section Administrator, Community Health Worker with the Utah Public Health Association, and Laie girl from the 96762. Let's go! Aretha Masina Maputupola.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't nervous until now. And I hope you guys aren't expecting a speech because I didn't prepare one. But I want to tell you, like my story shared, I'm from the island of Oahu, from a small town called Laie. And I'm going to share a story because we are from the Pacific, and that's how we share, is through story. My first experience with Utah was in the 9th grade in 1990 when my mother and father got divorced. We moved to Cedar City here in Utah, and It was the first time that I've ever experienced racism and discrimination. When we left Cedar City, I told my mom I will never move back there again. But I want to thank my Heavenly Father because He guided me back here 6 years ago. And since living here and working for the Utah Public Health Association and building the work of community health workers who serve our communities, who serve the underserved communities who have been lacking the resources that they need living here in Utah, in a state where there are so many resources. I'm grateful to Him for guiding me here because I found my calling and my purpose to serve my Pacific Islanders here in Utah, who have been the longest people here, migrating here through the church. I used to ask myself, why are you up there? I've received so many awards since being here, recognized for the work of community health workers, and I used to ask myself, why are you here? But I know now that I'm here because of people like you, people like Cameron, people like Simi, people like who start the organizations like PICTAR, who represent my community and other communities like yours. People like my grandparents, my grandfather who came here through the military and brought over his family members so that they could build a life here in the States. And people like my parents, Sone and Yvonne Mapu, and Yue and George Sushnig. I come from a very diverse family of mixed Pacific Islanders, and I'm very proud now to say that I don't ask anymore because I know I belong here. So I want to thank all of you for all the awesome work that you do in advocating for our people. It's time. And the work, if you don't know what a community health worker is, you better ask somebody. Seriously though, through pre-pandemic and through this pandemic, community health workers from all of our communities have been serving our underserved communities across the state of Utah with resources, actually connecting them to the resources that are out there to help them build capacity and be more self-sustaining for their own families. And I asked myself, why are we getting recognized for a business award from Living Color? But I tell you, the work that we're doing as community health workers is to help to build financial stability for our families, for community health workers whose expertise is not a degree from a university, but the experience that they have in serving community. So I echo what the judge shared earlier. We are all servants, and my purpose here is to serve my community and to serve those who are in need of resources, and I'm very happy to represent that. And so I just want to say thank you for this award. Thank you, Living Color, for this opportunity, because it is rare that you see a Tongan representative or a Samoan representative at any of these kinds of events, because we've never heard of them. And today that's going to change. Thank you.
Project Rainbow is an organization that provides visibility, advocacy through visibility in the form of flags. We stake flags all over the state. We've actually crossed over a couple borders now, but we put flags in people's yards, businesses. They represent the LGBTQ community. We also have a couple campaigns that are focused on the trans community and our partnering identities as well. I think with Project Rainbow, what I hope to accomplish is a sense of unity throughout the nation. I speak with a lot of youth, with a lot of my work, and one of the things that really sticks out to me is when they say, I'm walking down the road or playing with my friends and I see that flag, and it makes me feel like that neighborhood is safe. And so providing that safe space is one of the things that I focus on and I hold dear to my heart, that I hope that with this organization we can accomplish. When it comes to QT POC, POC, or LGBTQ rights, a lot of these fights are intersectional. And we are here to support each other, and with our work, we hope to build bridges that we can all walk together and accomplish the common goal.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage from Project Rainbow Utah, their treasurer and board member, Roberto Lopez.
Hi everybody, ¿cómo están? Good. I wanted to start off with a joke to kind of explain my awkwardness, but it's pretty apparent after you meet me for like 2 minutes. On behalf of Project Rainbow, I just want to say thank you to Living Color Utah and Utah Business. Thank you for all your support and all your ongoing effort to promote visibility in our state. Especially for our LGBTQ community and the intersections that we cross with our POC individuals and family members. It means a lot. From a personal aspect, I feel like this organization helps save lives. And so I hope that we continue this work and we continue our efforts to unite and continue to save lives. I just want to finish with a quote from Sylvia Rivera, which is a trans activist that fought with the Stonewall riots with Marsha P. Johnson. And her quote was, "We have to be visible. We are not ashamed of who we are." So thank you, and spread love.
Congratulations once again to all of our honorees in the nonprofit category. Let's please give them another big round of applause. Keep doing the great work. Now we have reached our final category of the evening. We're pleased to be recognizing an individual and a group for their work in diversity with health. Please turn your attention once again to the video screens.
The University of Utah Transgender Health Program is a multidisciplinary gender health program that provides services for all of our trans and non-binary communities locally here in Utah, as well as folks that travel from out of state who may not have the services in their area. So we offer everything from primary care, hormone therapy, to surgical services, physical therapy, voice therapy. So anything that someone might need on their gender journey, we can provide that here. Gender journeys are unique. You have a right to healthcare, and I hope that we can just provide the affirming, safe environment for our communities in a healthcare space. LGBTQ health is my passion, and I'm just so excited that it's a paid position that I get to have in feeling like I'm making an impact in serving the community that I'm not only a part of, but my loved ones and my friends as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the University of Utah Health, their Transgender Health Program, Coordinator Ariel Malan.
Malin. You're okay.
So congratulations, you look lovely.
Hi, y'all. So yes, I wrote everything down because I was afraid I was going to forget it. So I am extremely honored and incredibly grateful for this recognition, and I wholeheartedly resonate with Maya Angelou's quote, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." As a queer bisexual woman, my lived experiences are not the same as my transgender and non-binary siblings. However, there is an opportunity, a responsibility, and an imperative for all of us to amplify the voices in our communities that experience the most marginalization. The experiences of accessing healthcare as an LGBTQ+ person has only been documented in research for the last few decades. From being denied medical care because of our identities to coming across well-intentioned providers who just really aren't aware of the historical oppression our community has faced for centuries by healthcare institutions that have tried to regulate
and harm queer and transgender bodies. Many of our healthcare allies are doing their best, but our institutions have not provided them with the tools or education to be an equitable, affirming space for queer and trans people. The University of Utah Health Transgender Health Program attempts to shift this narrative and power dynamic back to our communities by advocating for system-wide education, inclusive policies, data collection that recognizes our identities and our healthcare needs, and actively recruits feedback from our communities about their care. It is revolutionary to wake up every day and live our authenticity, and this rings true to my own personhood. Every day we are challenging the socially constructed systems around us, and society is afraid, and they should be, because authenticity is the future. And the freedom that comes from this will defy gender norms, monogamy, patriarchy, and every system that was created to control, silence, and erase us. Our existence will continue to be a form of resistance, and I look forward to continuing that fight with our communities. I want to thank my partner, Chris, for their patience and kindness, bearing much of the burden in educating me around the nuances of being a non-binary person in a very non-binary world, or a very binary world. I'm also incredibly grateful for my team, Catherine and Jesse, who couldn't be here tonight, but for the immense emotional labor that they take on in helping our patients navigate their gender journeys with us. I've also been very lucky to collaborate with other allies, a few at my table tonight, who have helped us advance our mission and amplify our voice as a program. And lastly, I want to thank our amazing patient advocates. They are the voice and the direction of our program, and we cannot do this work without them. Thank you.
So the Black Clinicians was kind of a culmination of different brilliant minds who wanted to come together and all saw this need in the community for there to be a cumulative group of Black clinicians that worked together, referred to each other, and supported the Black community.
Some of the challenges that we have had to overcome as a group is creating a space for us and helping people to understand, number one, Black people do go to therapy. And also when Black people go to therapy, they want to see therapists who look like them. And so we've had to do a lot of work in our own community to take away the stigma of mental health and mental health care so that people will be willing to seek therapy services.
And so we see and have heard widely from the community that we want to be able to access Black providers so that we can receive the care that we deserve and that people can come with some lived experience when they're providing care for us and really help people to be seen when they're receiving medical care and mental health care.
We have come to the final honoree of the evening. Joining us on stage today to present the award is Roy Banks, Chief Executive Officer with Weave.
First of all, I just want to say I've lived in Utah for 29 years. I served in the United States Navy and moved here, and I've been waiting for the day where I could see an audience of this level of diversity for 30 years. So just wonderful. On behalf of Weave, it is with great pleasure that I have the opportunity and the privilege to introduce and welcome to the stage this evening Dr. Melanie Davis and the Black Clinicians.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being patient enough to wait for us bringing up the rear. We definitely want to give our thanks and gratitude and appreciation to Utah Business, to Living Color, and to the nomination committee for thinking about us and passing along that nomination to get us here. I just want to take a real quick moment to just say, y'all, we look good. I mean, I'm looking out and I'm seeing all of this diversity and all of this like beautiful, just like beauty coming together, and this energy is just intoxicating. So thanks so much. Like, give yourselves a round of applause. I mean, you guys are awesome. We came together to create this goal to break down the stereotypes of and the stigmas that come with being, a black person or a person of color and not needing, therapy. Black people don't go to therapy, we fought so hard to break that down and to let people know, no, we need therapy just like anybody else, and you don't have to be crazy and, completely bonkers in order to access what those resources are that can be helpful to help you continue to carry on and to fight that fight. So we're grateful to be amongst all of you. We're grateful for this nomination, and man, thank you so much. We are truly blessed. Thank you.
Okay, so how did you feel? Was it a good night? Everybody have a good time? Well, I just want to make sure that Deanna and I kind of echo what Roy had said. We moved here from the island of Oahu in Laie, 96762 in Hawaii, when I was a young boy in the early 80s. And like Roy had mentioned, it's so beautiful to see so many people from so many backgrounds, especially gathered in this beautiful place. So give yourselves one more big round of applause for joining it today and for all of those who won awards.
Going off script here for a second. So I grew up in Hawaii. We didn't meet each other until we moved here. I told my mom last night about what was going on today, and I told her, I won't cry, I have more friends from the islands here than I do back home. And I went to Hawaii for Christmas a few years ago. I'm like, it's not the same, it's not the same. So I'm usually here for Christmas now, but I moved here to go to the David Eccles School of Business. I'm gonna round this out right here. I also have a scholarship for kids like me that didn't have anything, and it's been really nice to give back. And I am very privileged to attend that scholarship ceremony every year. I've gone for 10 years, and I look forward to meeting the recipient of Cameron's. So I'm sending you a big hug, and I'm in Chicago a lot, so I will come see you soon. So we'll get back to script. So we would like to thank the businesses and individuals who have graciously donated items to silent auction. They are listed on the screens.
100% of the auction proceeds will go directly to Living Color Utah to continue their great work in the state. Now, with that being said,
we have moved all of the silent auction items into the reception area just outside the ballroom for one last opportunity to make a bid, and we'll be reaching out this next week to those who are the highest bidders.
Excellent. Now, we have a couple of housekeeping items. There were cards on your seats for a complimentary subscription to Utah Business.
I didn't get a card.
You didn't get a card? I didn't get a card either. So if you have an extra, we need cards. No, just kidding. Please feel free to complete them and then leave them on the table. And we want to make sure that we do our part in recycling. So if you could please leave your name badge on your table, we will do our part in collecting them.
Your parking is also paid for. So if you did not receive a voucher when you got your name badge, just stop at the registration table to get one, and they'll give you one.
That concludes our event for this evening. Thank you again, everybody, for coming, and congratulations again to the 2021 Living Color honorees. Those that traveled into our great state, safe travels back home, and aloha!